This week on the news at Rider,
we delve into the story of Troy Davis.
we take a look at a new form of transportation on campus.
And just how bad is student loan debt? We find out.
Welcome everybody, I'm JT Fetch.
And I'm Kim Lindenmuth. The story of Troy Davis is a complicated one that has sparked widespread protests and even outrage. Reporter Jaleesa James has more details on this ever-evolving story.
Troy Davis, a man who was recently put to death for the murder of an off-duty cop in Savannah, Georgia, has been stirring up emotions within our society. Some feel his execution was unlawful, while some don't even know his story. I went out into Rider to see what people know or what they thought they knew. Rider University is full of educated students, but are they really aware of what's going on around them? It appears that some are, but some are not. Do you know who Troy Davis is and what happened to him?
No.
No, I do not.
No.
There are some students who know who Troy Davis is, including Steve Schultz.
They're actually going to look at his case and maybe even pardon him for, because of lack of evidence, but they never did that. And, the whole month of September, people were just counting down the days, hoping something would change, hoping, someone would justify the fact that he was completely innocent. I'm very much against capital punishment, and especially when a guy is innocent, when 7 of the 9 witnesses recant their testimony, and the other 2, police influence them to make their opinion. It's not right at all. That could have been anyone at the scene of the crime. He was just at the wrong place at the wrong time, and he happened to be in Savannah, Georgia, where sadly racism is around.
The death of Troy Davis is more than just a simple execution. I sat down with Dr. Berg to get his take on the situation.
You basically had a situation in which you have the punishment imposed. He goes through the appeals. Each appeal he goes through, the court finds that there were no errors, there were no judicial errors, that the sentence should still stand. He exhausts his appeals, and within our legal system, when you exhaust your appeals, the punishment's imposed. And I think it's important for everybody to realize that when you're reading the newspaper and you're making a judgment based upon what the newspaper is saying, you have a reporter who's giving you a very, very small snapshot of information. It's minuscule compared to what the jury has, compared to what the judge has. And so, with Troy Davis, doubt is raised. Right. But there's always doubt. In other words, there's never 100% conclusive evidence that a person committed a crime. With the death penalty, recognizing that there's always doubt, there's always a possibility of mistake. To kill a person by mistake, take away the life, is to impose a punishment that can't be withdrawn. We live in a community, we live in a society that's governed by laws. It's important for us to be aware of the laws that govern us. If there's a law that governs us that we think is wrong, it's still governing us. If we think it's wrong, it's important to know that and speak out against it. Right. So for the person who says, it doesn't affect me, they're wrong. It does affect them. Because they're living in a society which they are affected by the death penalty. And they should be aware of it.
Even though we all may not have been directly affected by the death of Troy Davis, it is important to stay informed about controversial issues that involve our rights and the world around us. This is Jaleesa James reporting with the news at Rider.
Well, now let's take a look at your week ahead in weather. Here is Milvian.
Thanks, JT. Snow in October? You heard that right. Expect some slush on Saturday, as it is expected to snow with a mix of rain. Sunday, however, will be mostly sunny with a temperature of 48 degrees. Now let's take a look at the weather for the week. Monday will be mostly cloudy with temperatures of 53 degrees. It will be warmer throughout the week with temperatures reaching to the high 50s. There will be some showers on Tuesday though, but the sun will be out shining Wednesday and Thursday. Temperatures will drop on Friday to 54 degrees with some showers. That's all for this week's weather.
Student debt is an issue many college students have to deal with, and many times it is something that can follow people for years to come. JT has more.
Yeah, thanks, Kim. And reporter Jim Vassell joins me now, and we're talking about a debt crisis, not for the whole country, but for these individual students, people that we probably see walking around all the time at Rider with us. Now, give me some figures on that.
Well, JT, first of all, thanks for having me. College debt is a huge issue in this country that almost goes without saying. But what I'm here today to show you, I found an article on HuffingtonPost.com. You know, very interesting. It showed the accounts of several college students across the country and their personal story as far as their college debt goes. Now, some are more extreme than others, but others are more pertaining to situations you and I are in.
But I think the point is, this is common, not just at Rider, but at pretty much every university in the country.
I mean, absolutely, yeah. It doesn't matter if it's a public school or private school, grants and loans, you know, it's a scattered issue, really.
Yeah, and a lot of people are affected. We actually have some personal stories. This first guy here, it's $50,000, first of all, is where your eye is drawn. And
Yes.
What's the story behind this gentleman?
Well, meet Quinn. He just graduated from Boise State University, public school.
Yep,
Yeah,
state school.
Yeah, so you would think it's lesser in cost than a private school. But interesting story with him is that he couldn't get a lot of loans because his parents' combined salary was too high to be eligible for a Pell Grant.
But then again, they couldn't afford to pay for him to go to
Exactly,
school.
so it's almost like a double whammy.
And he's in that middle area where a lot of people are, not just in college students, but anybody that's going to get a loan from a bank. They're in this middle area where it's like, okay, I make enough to where I can pay off some of it, but I need a loan to pay off the rest of it. But
Yeah.
I don't qualify for the loan because I make too much. So this is such a common thing with college students, especially those that take out loans.
And something, while we're on the subject of public colleges, I'd like to throw some figures at you. In the United States, public college tuition rates have risen 8% since last year.
Which is more than inflation.
And it's the highest rate ever.
Yeah.
And the average cost for a traditional public school for a 1-year 30-credit load is $8,000. Now, that might not sound like a lot when it first hits the air. Like $8,000, that doesn't sound like a whole lot for college.
Yeah.
But you have to consider room and board if you're dorming,
Food plan.
and books.
Books. There's so many expenses. If you live far away, you got to travel. A lot of people at Rider have to drive back and forth. They have to-
Absolutely, and after 1 year of tuition and fees, you're looking at about $17,000 a year, and for a 4-year degree, that's $68,000.
And now that's just if you want to just pay it without taking a loan. But these people take loans, and you get things like $50,000 hanging over your head.
Absolutely.
But this isn't even the worst case, right?
No, it gets even worse after
Let's
this.
look at the next story here.
The next story is LaQuinda. She graduated with a 4-year degree from the New York Institute of Technology. Very reputable school. She, a very smart girl, but she's $80,000 in debt.
And even more than that, that's just a round number. It gets to a point where it's just like,
I think she still has some debt left to go after that.
oh,
but,
of course. But it just keeps climbing and climbing. It gets to a point where you get so discouraged. I can't imagine this amount. And you look at how much college costs and then how much these people have in debt.
And you know what's interesting about her? She's working 2 part-time jobs right now at $12 an hour each. I don't know about you, but I don't think that's going to pay off that $80,000 anytime soon.
I don't think it's enough. And also, you think of, this is another common thing, you think of people going to college, they have more than one job while they're in college.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is someone who's graduated, studied something, she can't get a job in the field that she wants. So she's working 2 jobs, not to move forward in her career, but to pay off college that is now costing more than it costs to even go in the beginning. It's the college age equivalent, I think, of people that own homes where the mortgage is worth more than the home that they're staying
Yeah, and you brought up she doesn't have the job in her field that she wants. Is that because of the economy? I'm sure it's not her fault. I mean, we don't know these people on an individual basis, but her work ethic must have been fine. She went to a very reputable school, and it was very expensive. So you expect that to reciprocate in the job that you get after college, but that might be a result of this bad economy, JT.
Yeah, that and there's one thing on the minds of all these college students is jobs. And
absolutely.
they have these loans just saddling them, and they look at this, like we just said, I can't stress enough, you can't find a job in the field because no one's hiring because the economy's bad. It's a slippery slope, and it gets even slipperier with our third person here. And look at that,
Oh,
first of
my
all.
goodness.
Look at the number at the bottom there. First of all, it should be over her head because
Yes.
I'm sure she thinks about that every day.
$104,000 in debt. Now, this is Alicia. She graduated from New York University. Again, another reputable school, very known for being very expensive.
Yep.
But the difference with her, she graduated after 6 years with a master's degree.
Master's degree.
and-
Awesome, right?
Yeah, it's
Except
supposed
for
to be
that.
it's supposed to be your key to the world. I didn't know $100,000 in debt was your key to the world, JT. I wasn't sure about that.
Yeah, I know. Maybe if it was a check with the salary she should be making with that master's degree. But again, can't find a job, and look at what she has. That is
This poor woman.
Yeah.
She's in her 20s. She has her master's degree, the key to the world, and look at that debt.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell that she's going to pay that off in the next 20 years or before she retires, unless she wins the lottery or scores big with a great job in New York City or Los Angeles or some place like that. But I just feel bad for her. And she's not the only person in the country that has 6 figures in debt. This is becoming, before, maybe 5 years ago, that might have been the most, top 1% extreme case. But now we're seeing more and more students like this, and this is scaring us all.
And it's normal now to have debt in general, and to have
Yeah.
50,000, like our first case, was even a common thing. It's so common, and it's common here at Rider. You see people walking around. Your friends are probably talking about it.
Yeah.
They should be worrying about going to class and getting a job in the field they want. But again, it goes back.
They have to worry about the load they're going to get 6 months after they graduate when Rider or whatever school bills them. They have to look forward to at least 5 figures in debt, and in extreme cases, 6 figures.
And it's just demoralizing and discouraging, not even to be able to go out and get a job and start fresh, which is what college should give you. You start with this, and it's discouraging not just to find a job. It's discouraging, I think, people to not even go to college in the first place, because it's almost like it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Why would you saddle yourself with this debt that you're going to work 10, 20 years to pay off when you could just start with nothing?
That's the golden question, JT. What is college worth it anymore? It depends on your field too. I noticed that degrees in fine arts are usually more expensive
Right.
than if you went for maybe agriculture,
Right.
which is not exactly the most popular major. But
Yeah, and it all depends on which fields are hiring. And there's people that aren't even choosing fields to go into because of how their interests are.
Yeah.
They're going into it just because they just want to get a job. And I think in general, it's a bad mindset.
It really is, and it's unfortunate. And thanks for having me in the studio. I saw this article online, and I just had to show you, because it's one thing to hear about it, but to see this image, it really sets you in your mind, like, oh man, this is real, this is serious.
Yeah.
Like to once again put the visual image in your mind that I have on this paper maybe six figures in debt, 6 figures in thousands of debt, and it's really unfortunate, and we don't know when it's going to stop.
No, and I think it goes back to the question you asked before: is college really worth it? And I think that's a question a lot of people are asking as they try to go and look for jobs. And that's the most important thing now, and that's what's going to bring this economy back. But these people, they can't get jobs because they're saddled with debt and people aren't hiring. But to kind of change gears and go on a little bit.
Put a lighter spin on things.
You are one of our sports anchors, and I'm
Yes.
going to let you go prepare for the sports segment that's about to start. But what are you guys talking about?
Oh, we have a fine segment. We're going to Ashley and I are going to talk about the Trenton Titans in their first 5 games of the season, how they're doing. Plus, we're going to get into Rider men's soccer and take a look at some of the women's teams too, how the women's volleyball team finished off, and the fine job and the fine record that the women's field hockey team has so far.
Yeah, they are burning it up. We'll see how they do in the postseason. But we look forward to seeing that. But right now, we're going to toss it to Jaleesa and Sabrina and their entertainment segment. They shot a little bit earlier, so let's see what they have in store for us.
Hey Ryder, I'm Sabrina Safran here with reporter Jaleesa James to bring you the latest fashion news.
This week, Sabrina and I checked out the impact leather jackets are making as we transition from fall into winter season. Take a look.
As we go through the fall season and anticipate the winter weather, leather jackets know exactly how to keep us looking great while staying warm. This season, there are many different styles of these jackets, including the traditional zip-up leather jacket with a wide collar and long torso.
If that's not something you're into, there's always the trendy long tie leather jacket. This jacket resembles a raincoat with its loose-fitting quality and long tie around the center of the torso.
But let's not forget about the chic side zip jacket with a mid-length torso and high collar. This is perfect for a night out with friends or while running some midday errands.
For the more fashionably inclined, there are modern versions of the traditional leather jacket, such as jackets with distinct shoulder pads and fur collars.
But if that isn't enough, leather jackets also come in different colors. Some of the most common colors seen now are brown and red for women and white for men.
But don't forget about the kids. Leather jackets could be purchased for them as well. Until next time, this is Jaleesa James
and Sabrina Safran for the news at Rider.
In this week's entertainment news, Jaleesa and I have gathered the top 3 primetime shows of this fall's lineup.
According to TV.com, the number 3 show is The Vampire Diaries.
The Vampire Diaries is based on a novel series written by L.J. Smith, where you are given the insight into the diary of a 17-year-old Elena Gilbert. At their high school, Elena and her friends have become fixated on a mysterious new student named Stefan Salvatore. Stefan and his brother Damon are both vampires, one good, one evil, but they're both at war for Elena's soul. So, Vampire Diaries, relatively new show, yes?
Sure.
Yeah.
And also probably one of the shows that can be considered nonsense, of course.
With all the vampire, I like to call it vampire propaganda going around.
It's the big frenzy going on with vampires and werewolves, the whole Twilight series.
How do you feel about Twilight?
Just, I don't approve of Twilight at all.
You
Why
really?
does it exist? I don't understand. I'm not a fan of the vampire series and everything like that.
So do you think ever since like Twilight, like, that's what kind of brought on all these new shows? Like we have True Blood on HBO, and then we have this show, The Vampire Diaries.
It's definitely spurred just all these shows coming out. It started an epidemic that needs to stop. It really has.
An epidemic?
An epidemic, yes.
Yeah.
I would call it that because it's a tragedy. It's tragic, very tragic that we have to watch these shows, and people are actually big fans of these shows.
Oh, yeah.
They do pretty well, so.
Well, you know what? It didn't surprise me to see The Vampire Diaries as number 3, so.
I guess so, but moving along, TV.com's number 2 show is House. Dr. Gregory House, played by Hugh Laurie, wouldn't even talk to his patients even if he could get away with it. Dealing with his own constant physical pain, he uses a cane that seems to punctuate his unpleasant, brutally honest demeanor. However, House is a maverick physician whose unconventional thinking and flawless instincts have afforded him a great deal of respect. House is a brilliant infectious disease specialist who loves the challenges of the medical puzzles he must solve in order to save lives. This is a show that I can approve of.
Yes.
I actually enjoy watching House. I love the way he acts, the characteristics of all of the people in the cast. They're great. It's phenomenal. I love this show.
Yeah, I love House, and I love the rest of the cast as well. But the one thing I do have to say, Hugh Laurie is the person that plays House.
Right.
It amazes me that this man is British.
Exactly.
He
You wouldn't
has
even
a
notice.
British accent in real life, but you would never know.
That's
if you just watch the show.
how great he is, how great of an actor that he actually is in this show.
And I also think House kind of, allows people to get an inside look on what could go on, behind closed doors, what really happens, in doctors' minds, because they have a lot on their plate,
Exactly. And some of these diseases, you wouldn't even know they existed without House.
Oh,
so
my goodness.
Thank you for educating us, House.
Thank you so much. And finally, TV.com's number 1 show is Criminal Minds. The Behavioral Analysis Unit consists of an elite team of FBI profilers who analyze the country's most twisted criminal minds and anticipate their next moves before they can strike again. Now, Jaleesa, I have to say, Criminal Minds, I expected it to definitely be on the countdown, but for it to be number 1, I guess it has grown so much in popularity.
Right.
I know I've seen the show quite a few times, and I really, really like it.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just perfect, for people to get an inside look on what really goes on in the minds of criminals. You would never think of half of the stuff that, they think of, and it's almost like they're little kind of masterminds.
Especially, it's not just a simple crime as a bank
No.
robbery. These are heinous crimes that are actually committed by these criminals. And to actually get that point of view, to actually attempt to be in their minds, to figure out why they do what they do, and exactly why they went about doing it the way that they did.
Yeah.
This is definitely a show that deserves to be number 1 this week.
Yeah.
So.
And I also think, with other shows out there like Law & Order and CSI, all of those, have to do with some sort of forensic study.
Right.
But Criminal Minds is, I think, very intense. Like you said, they're heinous crimes compared to, like, bank robberies or, they're not just, like, your everyday crimes, I guess you could say.
Exactly.
They're definitely very well thought out, and it really gets the viewer inside the mind of
Exactly.
criminal
This
itself.
show is definitely in a league of its own.
It definitely is. And for now, that's all for your fashion and entertainment news. Now back to JT and Kim in the studio.
Now we will look at today's week in sports. Here's Jim and Ashley with more.
Thanks, Kim. Hi, I'm Ashley Monahan alongside Jim Vassell, and this week we have plenty of Trenton Titans sports action.
That's right, Ash. Plus, we're going to give everyone a quick look on how some of the fall sports teams are playing and how their standings are looking this year. Men's soccer has an overall record of 3-11-1, whereas the women's team is at 9-5-4. The ladies of field hockey are looking remarkable with a 16-1 record, whereas the ladies of volleyball finished off the season with a record of 4 wins to 20 losses. And of course, that's kind of rough. 4-20 to finish off the season. But the women's field hockey team is 16-1, and looks like they're going to go far in the MAC conference playoffs.
Yeah, we wish them all the luck for the MAC conference, and I sure can't wait for basketball season to start. That's going to be great.
Me neither. I mean, after watching an incredible MACness this year, who's not ready for basketball season?
I don't know. I think everyone's ready. So.
Yeah.
On Sunday, October 23rd, I was able to get coverage of the Trenton Titans versus the Cincinnati Cyclones. Although the Titans played aggressively, they were defeated 3-0. Right now, they have a record of 1 win to 4 losses, which I'm sure they hope to turn around and get more shots on goal, but more importantly, get those shots in the net.
Although the Titans fought hard at home on Sunday, October 23rd, they unfortunately fell to the Cincinnati Cyclones 3-0.
Our 4 for 48 ticket package. You know what that's about? I'm going to tell you. 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 sodas, every single game. Make sure you get your Titans tickets for any game 4 for 48. Can you say, let's go Titans? He said it inside. That's how good he is. Give him a big round of applause and let's go Titans! It's t-shirt time.
The fans, however, seemed to be having a great time throughout the entire game. Prize packages and t-shirts were given away, and certain fans got their chance to be looked upon the entire crowd as they cheered on their Trenton Titans.
Isn't it down? Audience, correct? Absolutely, it's it down. She's a big winner here. Congratulations to Jackie from Trenton, big winner of our 94.5 ESPN SNR Challenge. Can you say let's go Titans? Let's go Titans! Big round of applause!
As a way of saying thank you to all the fans who came to the Cincinnati game, some of the Titans players signed autographs when the match was over. This shows that the Trenton Titans love us just as much as we love them. Goaltender Brad Phillips was able to stop 32 shots while only allowing 3. This is quite impressive considering all of Cincinnati's extreme intensity was placed on Phillips' shoulders. Phillips gave us a few minutes of his time after the game to tell us how he felt about the loss.
This is Ashley Monahan reporting for the Trenton Titans. I'm here with goaltender Brad Phillips. Brad, today was a tough game. You had 36 shots fired against you. Only 3, however, you let in. What do you think about those statistics?
I don't know. It's pretty good statistic-wise, but I wish we would have won. But the second period, we were in our end most of the game. It's kind of hard to win games when you're killing penalties most of the game, so it's all right.
Right, absolutely. And is there anything you want to work on for the next time you perform as a goaltender?
Yeah, I have things I work on in practice, just little things, nothing too big that I work in practice every day. Just got to keep getting better with those.
Okay, and is there anything today that you wish you could have done differently to maybe, you could have just worked on a little harder, or do you think you did the most you could have done?
Well, obviously they're scoring goals. There's something you could have done, but I don't know, that first goal, I just kind of lost it. There was a big scrum in front, just hopped on the guy's stick and he had open net, so couldn't really do much on that. But the second one, it's kind of like a 3-on-1, 2-on-1, and I was kind of looking at the other guy, and I kind of took my eye off the puck and just buried it.
Okay, well, we wish you all the luck the next time you play, okay?
The Titans have 2 upcoming home games this week. One on Wednesday, October 26th against the Gwinnett Gladiators, and the other on Friday, October 28th against the Reading Royals, both with memorable events taking place each evening. Be sure to try and make it to one of the games, and while you're there, make sure to cheer on the terrific Trenton Titans.
Now, the Titans are struggling a little bit in the start of their season. I don't know. I think it's just something to do with the defense, but they just can't seem to outscore the other team.
Well, of course, offense is the foundation of any good team, but the foundation of any championship team is defense. And if the Titans want to go forward with more wins, they have to increase their defense, get their players more cohesive together.
Yes.
And head coach Vince Williams, he's been a long time in this field. He knows how to deal with these types of problems. I'm sure he's going to come up with something by the end of the season.
Yeah, and it really isn't the goalie's fault. I mean, he was talking to me after the game. When it's 3 offensive players coming at him aggressively, how is he supposed to stop a shot like that? The defense really needs to come back and play way more as a team back there.
Oh, yeah. 3-on-1 situations are tough for any goalie, whether in minor league hockey like this or in the NHL.
Yeah.
But like I said, Vince Williams is going to come up with a defensive scheme this week in practice. He knows about this problem. So I'm sure the Titans are going to get more wins and losses this season.
Yeah, and we're actually filming a game tonight, so hopefully we wish them all the luck in that game.
Absolutely. Go Titans.
Go Titans.
And that will wrap it up for sports this week. For more information on Rider Sports, log on to GoBronx.com.
And for more information on the Titans, please log on to TrentonTitansHockey.com. Thanks for watching, and now back to JT and Kim.
Well, that's all we have this week. I'm JT Fetch.
And I'm Kim Lindenmuth. Please join us next week for all of our past shows. Check out on our website at RiderUniversityNetwork.com.